Do you know the power of compound interest? Have you taught your kids the power of compound interest? I think we all need a reminder. But here is a good story to reflect on how powerful compound interest is. A wise man impressed an emperor so much, the emperor offered him a reward that he desired. The man asked for a seemingly humble request, a single grain of rice doubled for each square of the emperor's chessboard. This meant 1 grain on the first square, 2 on the second, and 4 on the third, and so on and so forth for 64 squares. At first, the request seemed modest. However, as the squares filled the number of grains, the grains grew exponentially. However, as the squares filled, the number of grains grew exponentially. By the 20th square, it would be over 1,000,000 grains. By the 40th, 1,000,000,000,000. By the end of the chessboard, the amount was more rice than existed in the empire, showcasing the astonishing power of compound growth. So when I was driving my son to school, I was talking to him about compound interest. He's 16, and I asked him, do you know how compound interest works? And I swear I've taught him this before, and he's learned it somewhere, but obviously it's not on his mind. He says, no, he doesn't. So I asked him, what would happen if you had 1 grain of rice and you doubled every day for 30 days? How big do you think the number would be? And it turned out to be 1 billion. And it actually surprised me. It's a very important reminder of how compound interest is such an important thing to understand when it comes to saving for retirement and planning for your financial future. It is very difficult because myself, my son, my family, all of us are so short-term oriented. It's very difficult to think long-term. But if you think long-term, you can become very wealthy, you can become very secure, and you can make a lot of great decisions and have an incredible life. And that's one of the things I'm trying to do for my son. I'm trying to make sure that he has these tools. And I'm also practicing to eventually teach more of this stuff to my daughters. But the big concept here when it comes to grains of rice doubling compound interest, 1 billion just doubling for 30 days, starting from 1, the idea here is that it's not just about money. It's about relationships, how long you spend in a relationship, how much time and energy you spend into a relationship, how much time you spend into a business, how much time you spend into a skill, a craft, right? It compounds. When you focus on one thing or a few things, it makes a significant impact on how good you get and eventually how much earning power, earning potential, influence, and abilities that you have.